Hey everyone, my name's Chris Vinson. I'm the founder of Bandzoogle.com. Thought I'd like to do something a little different this week and try a video blog post. I just came back from the Folk Alliance in Memphis where I was on a panel doing website reviews for musicians. And I thought it would be great if we could do a regular website review section in the Bandzoogle blog. So let's get right into it. The first site I'd like to review is CyConnolly.com. He's a amazing singer-songwriter in the UK. He reminds me a lot of Jeff Buckley. And here's his website. I'm going to limit this review to the front page just so we can do it in a limited time span. And I'll start with what he's doing well. I think that the main focus on his site is a giveaway. He's giving away his EP of 28 tracks. It's a huge download. I think that it's great to be featuring that as a call to action. He has a bio and a press pic right on his front page, which is good. I think that there's a few things that we could tweak though. So first off, his header image is pretty large, and what ends up happening, you'll see, is the contents of the page is below the navigation, and it's really off the page for most people. So if I click on his About page, the page is changing, but the contents are below the page, off the page, so chances are people may not scroll down to see it. I would really reduce the size of that header. And speaking of the header, I think that he could have a site-wide header that is not really related to his giveaway, use a great press photo, and then focus people's attention on the giveaway in the content area of your site. I don't think it's absolutely critical to put a call to action right in the header area if the rest of your content area is designed well. So the next thing that I'd like to look at is his navigation. I think that he could make the navigation a lot more concise so that it doesn't wrap onto 2 rows. I'm never a fan of when it wraps. I think that many bands put a few extra buttons where they don't absolutely need them, and that's the case here. So for example, he has a Twitter button. He could just as easily put a Twitter feed on his page. The Twitter button here is taking the user away to twitter.com, which is really a negative. I'd rather keep the fans on your page here and then just use a Twitter feature to show your feed on your page itself. The other thing I noticed with his nav, when I first hit his site, I really wanted to download his track, The Hurricane is Beautiful. It's an amazing song, but it took me a second to find where the track was. At first I went to the media section thinking it was there, but it's actually in 28-day giveaway EP download. I would just rename that music and rely on your call to action in the content area to draw fans to that music section. So let's look a little bit at the content. It's great that he has his call to action right in the top here. If you click on it, it brings you to his music page where you can download his EP. One thing he does though is he's requiring that you download all 28 tracks as a zip file in exchange for the email. I think that he should just give away individual tracks rather than the whole zip file, which was huge, about 150 meg. The first time I hit the page and I wanted to download it, it took me, I was not sure if I wanted to actually download 150 meg of tracks. Luckily I did, because he has some really amazing tracks in there. But if I was coming for the first time, it might turn off some visitors if they had to download a huge thing. So I would let each track be available individually. The other thing is, since he's doing the track in exchange for email, it's not absolutely critical to also have the mailing list sign up right on the page. I think he could just have his call to action and that would be strong enough. And then in that section here, he would have room to put really important content like a short bio. He does have a short bio, you got to scroll down for it. I would take this bio and put it right at the top. And I would actually, I read through his bio and he doesn't really describe his music at all. A lot of musicians have trouble defining their music. I think it's very important to try in your bio to explain what kind of music you sound like or what your influences are. And also make sure you mention where you are. His bio doesn't mention that. It took me a while to find out that he was in the UK. And he does mention at the end that he's recording right now with a producer that worked with the Verve and the Rolling Stones. So that's pretty huge. I would definitely include that in your short bio and put that right at the top of the page. So if we did that, we could use this press photo here as the header, and we'd have almost all of the page available for important content. And I think that most bands should put a news feed of some sort on their front page, and my favorite way to do that is in a blog. On Bandzoogle, it's really easy to add a blog feature, and then you would use that as kind of a constant stream of news and events that appears right on your front page. It's really the best way to have constant information, and since it's right there, fans will see it right when they hit your page. It's pretty important. So I've kind of played around with the website and incorporated all of the ideas that I mentioned here. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So this is the new version. As you could see, I took his header image out and I made a new one using his press photo. I did that in the custom editor and put some really simple text right beside it. I then streamlined his navigation by renaming some sections like music. It's a lot simpler. And I took out some sections like the Twitter button. I moved the bio to the top of the page. He still needs to rewrite his bio to make it more concise. I moved the blog here, and as I mentioned before, I think the blog's best place is on the home page. And I just kind of removed some of the extra unnecessary text underneath his call to action. I think that since his call to action has text in it already, doesn't need to go overboard by explaining what he's offering. I moved up his social networks icons on the page, and that's pretty much it. So I think it streamlined the front page a lot. The same thing could be applied to any of the sections on his site to just really make it cleaner and simpler and focus on just one or two elements on each page. I didn't have time to get to every section, but I think this is a good start. So I hope you guys got some good tips from this, and we'll see you next time.